Welcome to EnVision Center News. Today's episode is all about Sandpoint area seniors with Executive Director Cherie Coldwell. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to EnVision Center News. My name is Sarah Heisel, and I am the Resource Coordinator for the Community Resource EnVision Center. And today's special guest I have with me, Cherie Coldwell. She is the Executive Director of Sandpoint Area Seniors, and we are so glad to have you today, Cherie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We are just kind of going to go into it. I first like to start off with just knowing a little bit more about you so the audience can know who you are and get familiar with you. Mm-hmm. So are you originally from North Idaho, or did you relocate from somewhere else?
I relocated for some. That's a loaded question for me.
Yeah.
I'm an Air Force brat, and I spent 10 years on active duty as well. So when people ask me where I'm from, I'm like, pick a year. Pick a year or everywhere. So yes, I'm not originally from North Idaho, and I moved here from Pennsylvania. I had been living there after I exited the Air Force for about 15 years, working as a pediatric nurse. And then I decided that my dog and I needed to take the show on the road, so I bought an RV and we traveled around the country for 7 months and had a blast. Oh my goodness.
Serious?
Oh, it was so much fun. And while I was staying at Yellowstone, getting ready to go to Spokane to visit my cousin, who happened to be an ICU nurse over at Sacred Heart, a couple of Air Force friends of mine that had just retired from Mountain Home and moved to Sandpoint saw, on Facebook, they were like, "You have to stop and visit us." And so I made a pit stop here, and 1 week turned into 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay, this place is awesome. And of course, this is right around the time of the festival, so how could you not?
Yeah.
So when I started looking for work, this was one of the places I had on my rotation, and it just happened to be the one that gave me my first offer, so I jumped all over it.
Oh man, that's an awesome story, and I think we kind of bonded a little bit with the military brat thing going on, because my dad was Marine Corps, but you were actually in the Air Force. So
I was for 10 years.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service, by the way. So, what do you love the most about this area?
There is something to do year-round.
Totally.
And if you don't feel like doing it, there's plenty to do indoors. That's not outdoors and freezing. And there's just so much to see and do here. And what really impressed me was just how great the arts and music culture are. There's so many talented people in such a small town. And I don't mean just artists and musicians. I also mean cooks, because there's some great restaurants in this town. And I love to eat, so, it's all good.
Do you have any favorite restaurants?
Oh, yes. I really love Beet and Basil.
Oh, yeah,
so I was kind of sad when they had to close down, but I'm ready for them to open up again. There's just so many. Arlo's, Ivano's.
I know. It's
McDuff's has the best pub food. I think one of the best burgers I've ever had comes from the Hydra, so I'm going to be really sad when they close that down.
I know. Yeah, no, there's plenty of good places to eat around here. We learned that very quickly as well.
Yes, and so did my waistline.
Okay, I don't believe that. You're a skinny little thing. Okay, so you recently became the executive director, but you were actually there doing something else before. Did you shadow someone, or did you just step into the executive director role when you came here?
Well, they hired me on as the executive assistant and the grant writer, and I think that was kind of an audition to see how, basically verifying my bona fides and making sure that, I can accomplish the things that they needed for an executive director. So I did that for about 7 months, and then February of last year, I think it was, they offered me the position of ED.
Nice.
So, yay.
Nice. Well, you fit perfectly in that role. I think you do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So is there a specific reason why you chose to work with seniors specifically? Is that something that was ever in your background?
Well, when I was in the Air Force, I was a medic. I mostly worked in the ER, so I worked with pretty much every demographic. Okay. And we did have a large population of retirees that lived in southern Idaho, because I was stationed in Utah for the most part. So, we took care of a lot of seniors between my assignment there and my assignment at Travis Air Force Base in California. So it wasn't something specific. It was more about, just the grant writing and, just being the director. And it was something that kind of was a bit of a lateral move from me.
Sure.
I was the after-school program director for Priest River High School and their grant writer there. So it was just kind of a lateral move with slightly older people.
It's like you went from the younger generation to the older generation.
I did.
That's cool. So what is the thing you enjoy most about working with seniors?
I learn so much, every day, and they always have the most interesting stories. And I'm a bit of a history buff, so anytime they can share their experiences and what they remembered, especially during, significant events in history, it's always a great experience. And in fact, we're going to be partnering with Heather Upton over at the Bonner County Historical Society to start doing an oral histories project with all of our seniors here. So I think, it's just they have some great stories to share, and for the most part, they're just a great group of folks.
I agree. I actually have a great grandmother that just turned 98. Shout out to Great Granny.
That's awesome.
And she has some of the best stories, especially her, being born in 1924, just going through World War II and all that. And yeah, it's so cool to listen to those stories and have that history with us still.
Absolutely. So, we just had a senior turn 100 on Monday, and
it's
been a fun party. our center is still decorated with all the balloons and streamers and everything, but it's just amazing. And just sit there and talk to him, and I got to interview him for the newsletter. It's just fascinating. I'm like, you were born the last major worldwide pandemic. You were a baby at the time. So it's fascinating to see, and here we are, he's experiencing yet again.
No kidding. And just everything in between. I mean, it's incredible to me too. So I know the Sandpoint area seniors is the go-to place for support services concerning seniors, and you guys just really have a pulse for seniors, what's going on in the area, things that they need. And I even remember when tax time came around that you were assisting with taxes too, which was really cool. I didn't know that you guys did that.
Yeah, that's a program through AARP. They have volunteer tax preparers that come down and they set up shop at different senior centers. We weren't the only ones. Coeur d'Alene was doing it as well, if I remember correctly. So it's just a wonderful service and a great partnership to have, especially because so many of our seniors, as you know, are on a fixed income, and most places charge $200 to prepare your taxes. And it's just when you're living on that sort of a fixed income, every penny counts. So having to pay somebody $200 to do your taxes is just, that's grocery money for almost 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm really glad that you guys provide that, because I think we even had some clients, we were like, go there, get your taxes done here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So but I know one of the main things you guys do is provide meals for the seniors. So can you tell us a little bit about the meals that you guys serve and what the meal times are?
Sure. We have both congregate and home delivered meals. We don't have a Meals on Wheels franchise. We have our own version of that. It's just called the Home Delivered Meals Program.
Nice.
And so we provide meals for 7 days a week, even though we're only open for 5 days.
Wow.
So what we do is every day we have a fixed menu, and you can certainly find that on our website, sandpointareaseniors.org.
Okay.
But we have a fixed menu, so you can go on and see what meals we're going to be having for that day and plan accordingly. If it's something you like, you can just give us a call and reserve your spot. But we have 2 servings because we have to get our home delivered meals out at 10:30 for those folks at home.
Okay.
And then we have a second seating. Well, I guess it's the first seating, but it's the second round of meals for us at 11:30, where we serve our congregate diners, and we do lunch for them Monday through Thursday, and on Fridays we do breakfast.
Oh, nice.
The home delivered folks will still get a hot lunch, usually something different, but the folks that come in on Fridays get breakfast.
Oh man, no wonder you're cooking so much.
And tomorrow is biscuits and gravy day. It's my favorite.
That's awesome. So do these meals cost anything at all to anybody?
Well, if you're a senior, 60 or over, the suggested donation is $5 if you can afford it. We never ask you to pay. We never solicit for payment, and that's for same for our folks at home. We even have a little screen set up around our, payment area so that, we don't want any senior to feel pressured to put any amount in. It's whatever they can afford. And if you're not 60, then the cost is $8. But you get a lot of food for $8. You also, you don't get just the entree. You also get a dessert and a salad that goes with it as well. And all the drinks are included, so you can have as much coffee, tea, water, juice, whatever, milk.
That's a good deal.
It's a very good deal. And we have a lot of non-seniors that like to join us. They'll come and have lunch with their, elderly father or mom, or they'll bring a grandchild along or a great-grandchild along for a meal. And it's a great atmosphere to be able to come in and sit down and dine in with us.
Yeah, very much like a community bonding moment or family time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you kind of went over the meal deliveries, and do you have drivers that you send out specifically that do that?
We do. We have volunteer drivers because we cover a large part of Bonner County. Believe it or not, we deliver all the way to Priest River as well as Sago, Kokolala, down on that end. Because of the distance for those folks, we can only deliver to them once a week, and so they usually get just all frozen meals. So depending, and some of them are only 3 or 4 days, but most of them do take all 7 meals. So we're cooking multiple meals throughout the day. We have what's on the menu, and then we usually have to do 1 or 2 freezer meals to keep the freezers stocked for the weekends and holidays.
You guys are hard workers. So I'm curious, just for my Clark Fork people out there, do you guys deliver to Clark Fork at all?
No, we used to, but Clark Fork has their own senior center, and they have
that's true.
Yeah,
that's
they
right.
do their own meals, and I believe they do home delivered meals there as well.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, but we used to. That was a hike. Yeah,
I was about to say that's a long drive. So another great thing about Sandpoint area seniors is that you guys provide social, recreational, wellness programs, and those are really beneficial to this community, especially after COVID happened. Those were pretty existential. So can you tell us kind of what social events you guys have going on now?
Oh, absolutely. We have an activities calendar that's also posted on the website, so you're welcome to go and take a look. Most of the things stay the same week to week. So like every Monday, we have Bunko at 12:30.
What is that? I'm curious.
Bunko is a dice game. It's kind of like Rummy and Yahtzee, and I'm not real familiar with the rules, but just kind of watching them play and passing, it looks similar to that style game. It's a dice game. Tuesdays we have bridge, also at 12:30, and Wednesdays is pinochle at 9:30. And usually what happens is they'll take a break for lunch, and if there's enough folks that hang around, they'll go back and play some more. So that's
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
And on Wednesday nights we have bingo. Doors open at 5, play begins at 6, and they usually have a meal there for purchase and concessions as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see. We have an art class that's been happening with an artist named Lillian Heisel, who is world renowned. She's even been exhibited at the Louvre, believe it or not.
No way.
Yeah, she does these 3D textural paintings where the different textures equate to different colors, and they're made specifically for the visually impaired.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Her work is wonderful. So they just finished a series last month with trees.
Okay.
And this month's series is going to be flowers.
Wow.
And so far it's turning out really beautifully. I'm really excited for that. We have an exercise class specifically for seniors called Fit and Fall Proof.
Okay.
That's twice a week. They do 10-week sessions, and the classes are an hour long. And it's a combination of things. So they all have chairs set up, and they'll have either small weights or bands or exercise balls, and you can do some of the exercises sitting or standing. It's whatever you can tolerate, but it's designed to help you improve your core strength and your balance so that falling won't be as much of an issue as you grow older, which we all know falls can be very dangerous for seniors as they age. So it's a great class. And then we also have community dances twice a month on the second and fourth Saturday of the month from 1 to 4. We have a live band. They're called Country Plus, and they're so awesome. Cool. They play old school country, so it's all music, seniors would be familiar with.
Yeah.
And they usually take a break around 2:30 for a potluck lunch. So it's a really nice way to spend the afternoon. And even if you don't dance, just come out and listen to the music and sing along and socialize with your peers. It's a great way to spend the afternoon.
That's all. Do you see a lot of seniors like to get up and dance? And
we do. As a matter of fact, Daryl Ewing, the gentleman that just turned 100, he never misses a dance, has been dancing pretty much for the last, 60 years. years. And even his girlfriend, Sally, who I think is about 20 or 30 years younger than him, gets too tired to dance. He's like, all right, he goes and finds another partner. He dances every single song. It's amazing. I'm telling you, that's what keeps you young at heart. Just keep moving.
I wish I had that kind of energy now.
I know, me too.
So this is probably kind of goes without saying, but do you see these social events making a big impact on the seniors in the area?
Absolutely, especially with having to be closed down because of COVID. I mean, for a lot of these folks, who may be widowed or widowers, this is their only opportunity to get and socialize with their peers, so that if they come down for lunch once a day, oftentimes that's their only meal as well. So it's hugely important to be able to stay open and have these services where they can congregate and meet together socially. And so to be able to open back up and finally get to the point where we're loosening restrictions so that we can have more people in the building at one time has been it's been a lifesaver, I would think, for a lot of folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell me a little bit more about the Daybreak Center? Because I know that's a pretty important program that you guys provide as well.
Right. Daybreak has been taken over by another organization based out of Coeur d'Alene. They're called On-Site for Seniors. They run something called the Bennett House there, which is exactly the same thing that we're providing here at Daybreak. And their services are in line with what we were providing before. But Daybreak House or Daybreak Center is a respite for caregivers of folks who have memory-related issues, like dementia, Alzheimer's, that sort of thing. And provided they're not too far into the disease process, they can bring their loved one to the Daybreak Center on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for a couple hours or for the whole day if they need whatever they need to recharge their batteries. If they're going to go and take a little TLC time for themselves, or if they're just going to go do errands and doctor's appointments and they want to know that their loved one is being cared for, they can just bring them to the Daybreak Center. We provide the meals for them as part of the service, so they'll have a hot, fresh made meal every day. And there's a beautiful courtyard there for them to sit outside now that the weather is nice. They offer different sort of art and music therapy programs, and I know the music therapy programs always it's always fascinating and wonderful to watch. It's almost like watching a flower blossoming, because they hear these songs that takes them back to a time and place, and it's like automatically their face lights up, their eyes light up, and they just start telling you stories about that time in their life.
Amazing.
It's just wonderful. It's wonderful work that they're doing there, and it's a great service that we love being able to help provide for the community.
Oh gosh, that's so amazing. Yeah, when you're talking about the music, I've heard that kind of reaches a certain part of your brain, and you retain that information even after you get Alzheimer's or dementia, and that's something that kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in some people that I've watched before. It's like when they hear a specific song, they make a connection and they can still remember things.
Yeah, if you are a musician and you love sharing your craft in a way that's going to really benefit folks, please give us a call. We would love to have you come down.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Is there a cost at all for the Daybreak Center?
There is, but we have a scholarship fund that if you can't afford it, you could use as well. I don't know what the cost is off the top of my head, but I do know that the first day is free. So if you want to bring your loved one down just to check it out, that first visit is completely free of charge. I'm not sure what their breakdown is, but I can find out for you and let you know.
Sure. Wow. Yeah, I know that's pretty beneficial, because it's great that people have their loved ones to be able to take care of them during those times, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress and emotional anguish, so it's good that they can have that option.
And I will say this, there is ways that you can get some reimbursement for having your loved one there, especially if they're on Medicare. I know the Veterans Administration has just approved services there as well, so if your loved one is a vet, you can apply to get reimbursed or have them cover the cost, if not all of the care there. So yeah, it's worth looking into for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So I kind of want to get into volunteers, because I know that's something that you guys that you need. I mean, we were just kind of talking about how you and your other chef are kind of hitting it hard, cooking 75 meals and just really going at it. And So what kind of volunteer opportunities do you really need right now?
Well, we, since our head chef, Greg Bullen, passed away about a month ago, we have had a tremendous amount of support from the retirees in the community, both through church groups and just folks that utilize our center have really stepped up and volunteered their services to help us in the kitchen. Right now, it's just Bud, our dishwasher, and myself kind of preparing all the meals. So to have them there helping us prepare the vegetables, I mean, just having that done frees up an hour of the morning already.
Good,
so you can just start cooking. So it's been wonderful having them out there to help. So if you've got any, even if you don't have kitchen experience, if you can hold a knife, we can teach you how to cut vegetables. So we could use help there. We could use help with our volunteer drivers. We're about to lose one of our volunteer drivers, as a matter of fact, for our weekly Priest River run. So if anybody lives maybe in like the Laclede area that wouldn't mind driving in and dropping off our meals to the senior center in Priest River, because they have their own drivers that deliver out to the community from there.
Okay,
that would be wonderful. And our dining room could always use the extra pair of hands, helping especially during from like 10:30 to 11:30 when we're packaging up the meals for the home delivered folks and getting them out the door, and then when we're serving in the dining room as well. And if they can hang out afterwards to help with cleanup, that's always appreciated.
Oh, fantastic. It sounds like you guys have some really good opportunities available right now.
We do. We could always use the help. We could use help in with the grounds, just getting everything cleaned up from the winter. So if you've got time on your hands and you don't mind spending a few hours working with seniors, we would love to have you.
Awesome. Well, Cherie, thank you so much for joining us. This was a really awesome interview, and I always enjoy getting to learn about all the other nonprofits in the area. It just gives you such a much more fuller scope of what's going on and what you guys are doing, and we just really appreciate how much you've done for the seniors in this area and can't thank you enough. So, and if people want to learn more, they can go to sandpointareaseniors.org, which
Correct.
is your website, and then you guys also have a Facebook group, which I actually noticed that you post some very funny things on there.
That's mostly from Nikki Klein, our board president. She has an awesome sense of humor, and I love going on there just for a laugh. Anytime I'm feeling down or overwhelmed, I just flip through there and see what kind of funny she's posted. It's hilarious.
It's pretty awesome. I look forward to those.
Oh, great. I'm glad you are.
And so as far as volunteer opportunities, I know that you've got some on Volunteer Connect, so the audience can always go on there to see what opportunities you have as well. If they want to reach out to you, is there a contact, or would you prefer them to?
Absolutely. You can just give us a call at the Senior Center. Our number is 208-263-6860. We're at 820 Main Street, just kitty corner from the Embody Studio. So we're not very far, just like a block up from, the corner of Boyer, I guess, in Maine, like a block up from there. So not too far.
Great. Well, fantastic. Well, we thank you all for joining us today, and we hope you learned something new, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for listening to today's episode. For more information, you can go to CRECidaho.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you again soon.